Is this thing on?
Sorry.
Okay. Hey, here I am again in another CIA report. Certifiably Insane America, Michael Spar reporting. And I want to say thank you, Glenn Beck. Thank you for finally catching up with me and saying that we should let this computer of a system of ours reboot. When did I say this? Oh, way back when AIG was failing. Yeah, well, I believe this. I believe we've got to let these systems fail. It's the only way. And like Glenn said today, he said that, back in the 1920s, we were in the worst debt, but we got out of it through the capitalist system. There's a couple things you didn't mention. We were basically isolationists back then. All right. Another thing that he is not mentioning is that back then we had, some pretty, we were just starting to get into the oil and needing that oil, and we had big oil fields in Texas, I believe. I'm not sure, but the fact of the matter is we need to drill our energy resources, new energy resources, and go into a semi-isolationist policy like we were back in the 20s, and after the Great War, the war to end all wars, Look at isolationism is not bad. And another thing is we ought to build these friggin' countries that we were out there, with our soldiers with saving their asses. We ought to build them for saving their asses instead of reconstructing their countries and putting more and pouring our money, our good hard-earned money after saving their asses. As a matter of fact, all of our bills should be rescinded by the world for the services we've given the world. I'm sick and tired of, being the world's police officer and then having to pay for being the police officer. No, the world should be paying us if they want a police officer. As far as I'm concerned, I'm at the point now where Iran, look at, tell Palestine if they blow up Israel, they blow up Palestine too. A nuclear bomb does a lot of damage in a 12-mile area from coast to coast, the coast of Palestine. I'm sorry, people are not being realistic, not even in the world situation. And as far as it goes, Iran, I'm tired of you guys. It's a good thing I'm not president because I'd dump about 4 nukes on you, just to take out your entire system and maybe a little bit, and Tehran too, and I'd give the people warning to go to the center of the country because we're going to blow up Tehran and we're going to and then tell Russia and China, F you, and see what they do. They want a world nuclear crisis, or they just want to, watch the world nuclear crisis end with a couple well-placed nukes, like was done in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Go back to the isolationist principles. We can live in our finance system isolationist. All right. We don't need to buy anything from anybody. And our grains, we can take care of our people with our own grains and with our own food. And if people want our food, let them pay a high price for it. Screw the rest of the world. Because they're trying to screw us. I'm telling you. But Glenn, I'm so proud of you. You finally came to reboot the system. What I was saying, a year ago. Took you this long to actually come up with the plan to tell the people. Well, what can I tell you? The time has come for all good men to come to the aid of their country, and charity begins at home. And we got to tighten our belts, and we got to let businesses fail that are no damn good. I think we should look at some of the models that Glenn Beck is talking about. Glenn is right on the money, and even his own station has a tendency to, make it fair and balanced. So there's nothing fair and balanced. We have one way to go. There's only one way for this country to go and save itself, and that's to follow the Constitution strictly, live by the edicts of the Declaration of Independence and the Emancipation Proclamation, teach these virtues to our children, and have faith in God or a higher power, but not this progressive atheism that's, so profuse, because progressive atheism is just another way of saying, hey, there's nothing wrong with stealing from hardworking people, because the Ten Commandments says, thou shalt not steal, or thou shalt not covet. And that's all progressives do, is covet your hard working and the money that you produce. Covet and steal. And that's another thing. Repeal the 16th Amendment. Repeal that son of a bitch. Cut our spending in Congress, in the federal government by 50%. Shit, 60%. What they tax us, cut their pay by 60%. And the highest paid, cut by 90%, like they do to the wealthiest people in this country. Make a representative do what he's supposed to do. Represent his district. Take votes from his constituents, and only vote what his constituents want. And if it's a tie vote at his constituency, then you just go present, like Obama did so much. We're present, but we can't vote because there's not enough to prove that my vote is sustainable, in my constituent area. That's all a representative should be doing, is voting his constituency. And the guy that doesn't, boot him out. Boot that son of a bitch out, because that's what his job is, to boot what his constituents want. That's what I got to say today. Have a nice day, a pleasant day, and thank God that God used nature to shut down this stupid, ridiculous, progressive government for the last 3 days. Do it for another 20. Amen. And have a nice day.